the next series. I think we're not here to talk about my EPS.
Well, I'm sure people at least appreciate the honesty that hey, it didn't go too well with the first series, but the comeback, that's what all that matters. And it's the same story for diarouga losing 5-0 in his series versus Kaiser with some impressive wins afterwards. And can diarouga carry this on into this series? The first game here will be an Eero mirror on Kamchatka between IndiaBot and diarouga. We have IndiaBot representing the SKGs, diarouga fighting for the New World Challengers, and the customary good luck, have fun from diarouga in the game after he's finished his crate micro. I don't know why he does that. I always do it in the lobby.
You mean saying this later?
Yeah, he every single game he always says good luck, have fun in the middle of the game, but like there's always a great time to do it in the lobby, but it just maybe Diarouga just flexing his actions per minute, saying, "Hey, I've got time to type," and forcing Migo to type afterwards. Could that Diarouga is in the Central Islands just before Migo and getting the first attack off. These little details of typing, "Good luck, have fun," starting off, paying off already.
Yeah, he's showing dominance with that, I think.
Okay, no, so both players picking up their fry tag macaque, and Migo's actually stolen Diarouga's in-base goat, as well as picking up a few of the goats in the middle as well. Actually, Migo has already got 4-0 goat advantage at the moment. This is quite a nice start from Migo, to say the least. He's there's
Yeah.
not many treasures in the middle area though.
But also they are not doing the same because diarouga is chopping wood. No, he's dropping a TP while Migo, I don't know, he has one villager on wood, but yeah, I'm not sure what he wants to do with that because that's gonna take a lot of time if he wants to take 200 wood on the TP. And if he's not, I'm not sure why he has one villager on wood.
Well, how much does a house cost? I think it's 125,
Oh,
and then you go for a farm with your traveler behind. And when you have 5 goats, when you've completely crushed your opponent on the goats war, I think this is a really nice adaptation from IndiaBot. And there we go, farm slightly forward of the town centre. I preferred it behind in this pocket between the silver mine, the town centre, and the tree. And if you're not actually going to gather the farm, it's a livestock pen, but also provides a nice food upgrade in the second age. Quite expensive though, but could save yourself dropping down that market.
yeah, that's interesting. Also, one important thing with the farm is that it provides quite some XP, like, yeah, 80 XP when you build the farm. So that's quite a lot for a building like that. And also, he only had to chop 25 wood, which is not like a TP. But then the problem is that the goats, they are not like cows. They fatten very slowly, and it's not that much food. But yeah, still interesting. He has 7 goats right now and he will get an eighth one. Yeah, he does. So 8 of them is really a lot on this map.
Well, I believe there's only 10 which spawn on the map, so winning the Goat War 8-1 in a mirror, it's not like IndiaBot was playing as a French and had the native scout, had his explorer, had the macaque, while his opponent was busy dropping a trading post in his own base, not doing anything active on the map. Both players had the same tools, and diarouga was in the middle of the map as well, looking for those goats, but Migo just managed to slightly edge him out there. And after diarouga got into hand combat, Migo was walking away from the explorer, but was crucially that's ever so slightly ahead and managed to pick up the goats. In the meantime, though, picking up 85 wood as well. If I was to call a reef for these guys for some sort of map balance, I'm sure Migo would throw his computer out the window.
Well, you say that, but Jauga started aging still earlier than Migo because he had a food treasure and he still has the TP. Also, there is another build difference now because Migo is aging fast while Jaruga is aging slow. So that's really an interesting game because they are both doing quite different stuff. And the good thing for Migo is that Jaruga has the middle TP or not the TP near his base. So now that he has aged up fast and will probably be the only one with a forward base, it will be quite easy for him to take down the trading post, I believe.
Yeah, you're making very interesting points, and the fact that you've got a trading post in the middle of the map suggests that you've got an idea to drop the trading post at home at a later point as well and try and go for a 2-1 or just try and make the most of the 3 TP setup. But the fact that you're aging slow, this war hut's going to be completed essentially before diarouga's even placed his war huts, most likely in base defensively. So maybe 5 Tomahawks being trained, 8 very big button, 4 Kanyas, shipment from India bot. That'd be quite a bit of Mitchie on the field for diarouga to deal with, and I think this train post is short-lived.
Yeah, and look at this, the big button is already coming for both. No Migo from the forward base. And yeah, he will take down the TP. I don't know, yeah, a bit strange from diarouga that he has called it as well. Maybe he intends to defend his TP. But there is also the Kenya. So yeah, at least he will defend from this raid. Also, he was saying that he wants probably to take the second TP, but actually I don't think so. I think he only took the middle TP because he wanted to go for the goats and couldn't TP straight away with Iroquois because they only had 100 wood to start with. But yeah, here he also lost his Explorer, so good start from Migo.
100 XP for the player which does not have a trading post is always quite nice, but also taking down the Explorer. You see that Migo still has a Explorer unit with 400 HP remaining, but it does also boost and buff your remaining units as well, so a real big power swing that was, at expense of quite a bit of HP from the Kanyas. Let's not forget that, about 1 Kanya worth of HP going down, and a 4 Kanyas about to face off each other, and there's no nearby Tomahawk support. diarouga's units are nearby. Migo might be losing 2 Kanyas here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the thing is, diarouga got a bit more units on the field because since he aged up slow, he had the crates, so it enabled him to add a bit more units out. But at the same time, Migo aged up fast, so it means his TC was aging for a shorter time, and as a result, he's got more villagers. He had 2 more, and now he's shipping 5, so he has a big eco lead.
Oh yes, certainly that's one of the decisions every war chief civilization has to make, whether you age up with a age 2 politician which provides you benefit on the age up, or do you age up fast and get that residue eco bonus, but also tempo advantage. You see that Migo, he had that Kanya shipment out before diarouga, he had those units being trained, but it looks like diarouga was able to catch up in shipments due to that early TP, get a batch of units out, big button as well, and at the moment the military population is somewhat in favour of diarouga.
Yeah, but the time is running for diarouga, I think, so yeah, probably knows that he has shipped the crates. Next shipment will be units, I believe, and then he will try to break the position, or yeah, probably he will do that because yeah, otherwise he's in bad spot for the long run. Also, Migo is starting to eat some goats, even though they are not entirely fattened. Oh yes, they are now. So yeah, he will have a big boost in the next minutes.
Oh wow, yes, these goats are 300 out of 300. They've fattened already quite fast. Kanya's coming in, will pick up 1 villager, trying to throw down this longhouse. Longhouse a little bit forward, but losing 1 villager when you've got eco lead, not the biggest end. But catching the army in the middle though, or should I say diarouga's catching Migo. It felt that with the Kanyas not there, Migo could have capitalized on that, but actually he was the one losing units, and he has to pull back to the war hut, hoping that he has a unit ship on the way to the war hut, because otherwise he's about to... Oh, it's 600 wood! Oh!
Oh yeah, it hurts. Yeah, that's interesting now because if Migo holds somehow, he will be in a good spot. But I really doubt he will hold because that's really like twice the army for diarouga. So
wow, even more reinforcing Kanya horsemen from an in-base stable, and a few more Kanyas being trained out, and pure A has been trained behind this. diarouga's thinking Kanya Aenas is the way to go. Migo, he's calling the G already, and it's such a shame with all these uneaten goats back at home that it had to end like this so quickly. But look at his resources, 800 wood in the bank, food incoming, but he's lost his entire military, and he could train a batch of 5 Kanyas, 5 Tomahawks, but that's just not enough to deal with what diarouga has. And wow, that was a quick game 1. Unexpected.
Yeah, really interesting one. Because for Mirror it was really interesting because both went for so different build orders. It was quite nice.
Yeah, we always know that diarouga is a build order type of player. Well, when I say build order, it's the problem is you don't know what build order he's going to do. He's a very strategically focused individual where there's a certain player called I think he's called B Winner. Is famous for going for the same build order with Ottoman all the time. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, he's really a bot, I believe. So like,
Goes into autopilot mode. The AI takes over and just gets perfect Ottoman FFs all the time.
yeah, but yeah, so that's true. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think the build order from Migo was quite interesting. Just, I don't know, it turned out to not be efficient, but could have been. And also, he had lost some villagers before the beginning of the, like before the fight, and he was, a bit in, I don't know, in panic, and then everything went wrong.
So maybe from Migo's point of view, he used the fast age to get to the second age much quicker, so you already have a residue eco advantage there. You could have traded the 5 Vil shipment for the all resources and matched diarouga's card order at that point, and you would have got the food, coin, and wood. That wood could have went down to a second war hut possibly, or that earlier stable, and then could have then massed on that 600 wood then. I felt that there was a point where it was 7 Vils ahead, and we were thinking, oh my god, that's so scary, but actually it takes time for that to pay off, and diarouga's military count just kept on growing. Migo was at 11 military population for about 2-3 minutes and just really didn't do too much with his economy, and then once diarouga had more units on the map, just started to lose a few units here and there to a few engagements like Kanya drop in, a few units being caught out by the ANs in the middle, this kind of choke passage area, and then once Migo had lost a few units and not really trained many behind it, diarouga just right-clicked.
Yeah, actually, I believe Diarouga had like a very short window. If it was like a 1 minute window or maybe 1 minute and a half or something, and after that it would have been too late because Migo was also eating the goats, and he had a stable also, so he was about to mass a lot of units. But Diarouga identified it really nicely and pushed at the right moment. But also, I think it might be hard for Migo to know what to do, because it could have been that Diarouga would have done another bird and was in fact going H3, and Migo didn't really know about that, I believe, because he had lost some HP on his cav earlier on, and then he had to stay back with it, so he couldn't really get any information about what Diarouga was doing. Meanwhile, it could have been a semi-FF, I mean.
Yes, certainly, and both Civ recently have been more played as a kind of a pseudo-French semi-FF style, making good use of those strong units in the third age of the Musket Riders and the Forest Prowlers. But Eero, renowned for their strong colonial play in the RE patch, and that's what we saw from both players. Maybe it's like a French mirror in its own right, but in French mirrors, quite a lot of players tend to go for mass muskets, musk husk, because going for the H3 can be punishable, and maybe both players are thinking, hang on, I'm not going to go for this semi-FF play. I'm going to try and play for, well, Migo's play for the map, play for the eco, and play at that point. But diarouga is that one step ahead, coming in for the sucker punch and taking India bot out before he was ready. We're on to Tuparo for game number 2. Migo has to pick first for the SKGs and has decided to pick the Spanish lock. Now, considering that the remainder maps are Fraser River, Adirondacks, and Lumarco, possibly Tuparo is probably the best map for ATP Spanish play.
Yeah, do you think we will see this famous ATP robot play style now? Maybe with even a revolution?
I mean, possibly, but I feel that he's a bit of an apprentice compared to the master that is Robot or Oliveza behind it. Maybe he's hired these guys in the background to offer some tips and advice. But I have seen Migo go for revolts a few times. It is certainly an option. It will depend on what diarouga counters with. Maybe diarouga in this map could even go for something like Ottoman or Aztecs, because the Civ reset comes up after game number 3 on Fraser River, and maybe diarouga's thinking Brit or French or German on that kind of map, so it could be quite free with what civs he wants to pick here, knowing that the Civ reset is available.
Yeah, also, I would say that there is a lot of possibilities, because Brit is also known to be quite good versus Spain. So, yeah, he could still go for that. And he's also a player who likes to play Brit. Aztec is quite, I was about to say it's a possibility, and now he's picking it. because Aztec is quite good at taking the map, so it's quite efficient when there is a big TP line. Problem is we don't really know what TP line it will be with this map, because there is two different spawns that are quite different. One has a very good stagecoach while the other doesn't.
Yes, certainly, and the map spawn we see on the top right, you could get all 8 of the trading posts, or 4 trade routes and the 4 native trading posts, but it doesn't actually. It provides you map control, but it doesn't provide you any defensive buildings in between your 2 town centers. So as diarouga playing the Aztecs, he could say to his Smash opponent, okay, sure, you go for that advanced trading post, I'm going to mass up and I'm going to push your base and you will have to defend.
Yeah, also, I don't know if the natives. No, I don't think you can really use the natives versus Aztec. Yeah, honestly, we will see. I'm also not sure. I don't really know well this matchup. I believe Aztec usually goes aggressive, but Jaruga is also quite famous for doing a lot of warrior priest booming parties, this dancing stuff. So he could also go for semi-FF. I could see it maybe as an option versus Spain, but I also believe he will play something aggressive.
Well, the Aztec player has the options, and I feel that what we've just basically discussed then really is the tempo advantage is with diarouga. Diarouga is the one making the choices, and it feels like it's up to the Smash player to react. Otherwise, the Smash player could do his own business of fast standard FF into kind of pike rods, falconets, and lancers, or try and do this as like a defensive, fast industrial revolution. But I don't feel that the Smash player has the liberty of just picking a strategy and just going by it. He's going to have to react to what diarouga's doing, and if diarouga's going to go for the Shaman Age up, 2 war huts in the middle, and mass off wood crate shipments, Smash player could be in for a tough time, and treasure contention looks like diarouga's going to back out of that one. 100 coin going for Migo, and that means that Migo already doesn't have to mine any coin to get to the Fortress Age, which is quite nice for his Vil macro.
Yeah, true. It saves, it saves some working time because you just don't move the wheels to gold. So yeah, that's always a good thing to have. And I didn't see because I was trying to check the hands, but okay, he stole the treasure, so Jaruga got nothing and lost half the HP on his explorer. That's quite big.
Yeah, and the fact that Migo is still walking around with his explorer and dog, not choosing to stop off at any other treasures. Migo's thinking about hunting his explorer down, but maybe he has the crack shot recharged. 1 Jaguar picked off there, and then the dog's going to help pick off this Jaguar. Jaguars are quite strong, 190 HP and a fast rate of a hand attack, but when you've got a dog nearby as well helping out, it's very easy to take off. So another pet is going to India bot, and it's not like the Aztec Explorer can stun this pet Jaguar.
Oh.
This is the actual converted pet Guardian, which has very strong versus Treasure Guardians, but quite fast as well. And it looks like they're just trying to hunt down where diarouga Explorer is.
Yeah, but I'm quite disappointed because I was thinking with this early treasure stuff, it will be quite good for Migo if he tries to go for ATP, because then maybe he can take down Jaruga's Explorer or deny him from tanking any trading post quite easily. But Migo doesn't have ATP index, so he's not going for that.
I guess this would be a good time to look at what his deck. But actually, Migo has found where diarouga's Explorer is. Diarouga has started this 140 food guided by 2 Jaguars, and the pets are coming over very soon. The Jaguar and the dog's coming over soon. Migo has now just scouted his treasure, 140 food by 2 Jaguars. He's thinking, oh yes please, I want a piece of that myself. And he's bringing his dog and Jaguar, and I think diarouga just has to run at this point. He cannot stay here.
Yeah, so that will be free food for Migo, and that's quite big. He's chopping wood now for a TP probably. So getting this 140 food will be very nice to help him getting the H3 very quickly, which is quite important in case Aztec wants to rush. Thing is, Aztec is aging slow, I believe. So probably with the 2 warheads, and that means, I don't know, probably like a timing, but I don't really know if this build is quick enough to deny Spain from going H3.
I
We'll
don't.
see. I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't think you deny Spain going to the third age, but what you do put pressure on is that you're going to have Aztec units running around the Spanish town centre as the Falconets spawn or as the shipments arrive, and you can try and contain the eco, try and pick off units as they appear for the Spain player, and it's going to be up to Migo to try and really defend well with his outpost from the Governor age up. I assume it's the Governor age up, and it is indeed. So 200 coin on the floor, all his villagers are still gathering up the food, defensive outpost likely. And Aztec going for trading post. Migo's going for the trading post in transition. That's very standard for the Spanish player. But two Shaman's war huts will be out on the field very soon for diarouga. I'm expecting them to be placed about one there and maybe one a little bit across in the centre.
Yeah, seems like a good spot. Unless if he maybe wants to place them here to put more pressure on this end for Migo. We will see what he decides. And I like that. Okay, he's going here. I like that Migo was waiting with his pets to catch the warhut so that he knows what's going on. Yeah, he knows where they are right now.
Yeah, good scouting from Migo. He knows essentially the game plan from diarouga and just wants to check from diarouga that it wasn't a in-base age up with another politician been going for some sort of eco behind this. I suppose the two war huts is not enough to suggest that he's going to go full all-in play here or full defensive. 700 wood is a very versatile shipment for the Aztec player. Migo's going to see the 700 wood, but no real surprises. Just like how the Aztec players not going to be surprised that Migo's gone for an in-base tower FF as the Spanish.
Yeah, I believe when you age up fast, you either start with 700 wood or with 3 warrior priest. But when you age up slow as Aztec, I believe it's always 700 wood first because you need it. You need it as soon as possible to just get units out on the mass a lot. Oh, and you see that Diarouga, he was checking where the trading post for Migo was, and he doesn't know yet, I believe. So that's a bit annoying because look at this. No, he's going for the other spot with his spikes, but he doesn't know that in fact it's in the third spot. So yeah, if he wants to get it done, he will have to walk back to his base, and then it means he will be late if he wants to pressure base. So I believe he won't even kill the TP, which is quite good for India bot.
No, yeah, you're right in saying that he's not going to go back to the TP. Maybe a single batch of Pumas being trained may be rides to here, but you can see he's just waiting. The fact that he sent 6 Puma as his second card in H3, looks like he just wants to push in and try and pick off buildings and towers now, and this is a good timing. Like, look at Migo's food count. He has no food. He's invested into 5 musketeers, but at the moment he doesn't have the resources for Minutemen. Could have possibly gone for something like 4 muskets and then a defensive Minutemen pop, but 10 Mace Sultans coming in should be enough to deal with these musketeers.
But 4 hussars will pop, so maybe they can get something done. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, with the Minutemen, I believe it's a good position for Migo now. Well, the problem is the Minutemen don't anymore have a bonus versus Pumas, I believe. So the Pumas are still alive. Oh, or are they?
Yeah, this is really awkward because all the Pumas went on top of the Minutemen and the Hussars. The Mace Sultans then went towards the Musketeers. The Musketeers have gone down, but these Minutemen have provided so much damage output from Migo at the moment. He'd be very, very happy with that pop. I was even thinking could have gone for Colonial Militia instead of the 5-0, but the way he's defended and held that push from diarouga is really top quality there. Even Hussars now snaring these Mace Sultans, and a reinforcing batch of 5 Coatis, 5 Mace should be enough to deal with this, but diarouga was hoping to pick off more of those Puma Spearmen than just a single tower.
Yeah, it was such a good trade for Migo. He basically defended with almost nothing. And now he could even ship Spanish gold in the back of them because he feels safe doing so as he has defended. Like, he has killed so many units. Now he knows he has a bit of time before the next wave. So yeah, he's investing in that, and it will probably pay off at some point, and it means he will mass a lot. Probably we will see another crate shipment next. Yeah, the 1k wood. Does he have? No, he doesn't have 1k food, so then he will just chip units, and get a big mass of units. Probably he will drop a stable for some lancers, or we will see.
I mean, I know that he had a good trade, so that's given him some breathing room, but sending Spanish Gold into 1k wood seems very, very greedy at this point. Could have gone 5 lances instead of that 1000 wood. Spanish Gold after 5 vills seems greedy enough as it is, and now we have Coyotes and Mace Sultans running in, and there's nothing really here to do deal with this. We do have a batch of 10 Colonial Musketeers, but Migo is probably about to send another shipment just about now, but there's a bit of time where he sent this wood shipment, but so what? It's not being gathered up just yet. 600 wood still on the floor, and any wood that he has in the bank has not really been invested.
Well, yeah, he has a shipment on the way, and maybe he can. No, he has no food. He can't trade in dogs. But yeah, I don't think Diarouga can stay. Oh, maybe he can. He has some more units coming in. I don't know. Maybe with 5 lancers. No, let's see what it gives. It will be close.
Well, it looks like diarouga has to focus Dimitri units down here or run away, and he's going to choose the latter option there. It's very tempting to focus on the villagers, but that would have actually essentially spelled disaster for diarouga. These lances are very strong versus both the Coyotes and Mace Sultans. Coyotes should be enough to fend the lances away, but reinforcing musketeers attacking these Coyotes, I think the Coyotes may fall over first before the lancers do, but it's close. It certainly is close. We've still got 1 full HP Lancer here, and that's working its way on the Mace Sultans. 2 shots killing these guys now.
But I don't really like that Migo has chose to chase Diarouga's army, because he could have just stay safely in base and not lose the Lancer so that Diarouga can't ever come back, because now it's still a risky position. While I feel like it would have been easier to wait with age up advantage and more eco. Yeah, so we'll see. But he also has a second TP. I don't know if he intends to stagecoach this. I don't believe he can, because yeah, he needs all his food now.
4 Lancers now, and if the push with the 5 Lancers wasn't enough, a push with 4 Lancers may not be enough. You do have a few Puma Spearmen here, and another defensive batch of Coyote runners out waiting for the approaching army, and diarouga is clawing his way, and you can see how the game plan for diarouga was to try and sweep in and pick off units as they come out from the Spanish player, and that's exactly what he's been doing so far. He could have gone with the stagecoach on that 1000 wood, but it looks like he's looking for a second town centre in the back, and I would have preferred to see stagecoach on 2 train posts than a town centre, because you have to invest food into both these town centres for continuous villager production.
Yeah, true. But he has another shipment on the way, and soon he will also have one more. So he will probably get some army out of that. And the good thing with this TC is that it secures some more hunts, so he can gather with his vills instead of being idle. Let's see what he ships next. Maybe the falconets, or I don't know if he will feel safe. Maybe the rodelleros.
Rodelleros will be quite nice, because you do have a few Lancers out here, and another batch of Lancers. Rodellero time would be quite nice. It feels like Lancers and Falconets achieve the same result, but struggle versus the same kind of units. Rodelleros tied in with the Lancers will rip through the Coyotes first, and then should expose the soft underbelly of the Mace Sultans. Muskets will work on the Puma Spearmen, and that could be a good patch, but diarouga now scouting the second town centre. We do need to remember, though, Migo, Spanish, does have steel traps, as well as great coats, but it does have steel traps, so his food income's very, very strong at the moment, and with 25 villagers hunting, you don't usually associate Spanish player and eco, but that's the playstyle Migo's going for. Okay, now Falconet's coming out, may get single volley, but diarouga, I believe, has scouted and is now backing off.
Yeah, and the good thing with falconets is that it's very strong in defense, stronger than, well, it's also strong in attack, but when you are defending with them, it's really easy to protect them with these musketeers. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think diarouga can push anymore now that there is these falcs.
Well, it looks like Migo's trying to catch these coyotes, but if those lancers run away from the base a little bit too far, those coyotes could just turn around and catch the lancers. And, lancers only having a 20 hand attack versus these coyote runners. I feel that Coyotes with their 18 attack, but this the smaller unit size, they can just get amongst the Lancers a little bit better and just kind of gang up on each Lancer, like maybe like 3 Coyotes per single Lance, and just to tear those units down very fast. Now backing off though and going for the single trading post kill.
Yeah, actually, I think maybe that was the reason why Migos decided to go for a second TC instead of Stagecoach. It's because as he planned to play defensively, he knew that he would lose this TP at some point when diarouga stops pushing his base. So maybe not worth going for a Stagecoach when you are gonna lose the TPs.
Yeah, I mean, he did drop a town centre on 2 additional hunts to the north side, coin nearby, and a 3rd hunt being herded in now as well. But now diarouga had to go away. He's now pushing out, but like, look at this though. It's just Falconets and Lancers, but the Coyote run's just going to go straight in onto the Falconets and hopefully pick it off. But the amount of Musketeers here, surely this is actually a good trade here for Migo.
Well, yeah, he lost his Falcons, but for enough Coyote runners, and the Lancer are gonna be really good. Let's see if the Pumas are good enough to kill them. No, I believe Spain will just clean up this, but let's see. Not entirely sure.
Yeah, Lancers, Musketeers, enough to overwhelm the Puma Spearmen, and then it's just Mace Sultans over Lancers, so the GG has been called. diarouga suggesting he was a bit upset by his H1, and to be fair, he did get 100 coins stolen from him, and he did get 140 food stolen from him, so tough H1 there.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, I wonder if diarouga could have done something different to kind of make this work a little bit better. Maybe could have gone 700 wood, 600 wood for a bit of a better timing push. I've always felt that the 6 Pumas early on was pure Puma batch, but nothing really to deal with. Yeah, just imagine if that 6 Pumas was actually a 10 mace shipment. You'd have the 10 Pumas, 10 maces. Those early Musketeers would have got absolutely destroyed by the Pumas, and by the maces, and the Pumas could have still worked their magic with their high siege on houses, barracks. The outpost was gone. Yeah, we'll have to wonder though.
Yeah, because I believe that the plan was not to push the base straight. He wanted to first push the TP, and as he didn't find it, then he went for the base with only Pumas, and that was a bit awkward.
Yeah, that first cleanup though, 31 population from diarouga going down to about 13, and that was just a batch of 5 muskets timed with Minutemen and 4 hussars, and Minutemen very strong ranged infantry, or heavy infantry shall I say, spawning from the town centre for quite a cheap price, but the 4 hussars were there tanking, and even though they were fighting with the Puma spearmen, the Pumas, they just couldn't kill the hussars fast enough before the Minutemen killed the Puma spearmen and the town centre fire. So once those went down, a few hussars, I think like 2, was just enough to clean up the remaining Mace Sultans. And yeah, really, really good fights. And it was felt that diarouga wanted to kind of capitalise and punish the Spanish age up there, but actually got punished for pushing in. So a bit of a role reversal there.
Yeah, but I believe you saw right when the game stopped. He complained that the FF was too fast for Spain, like 7 minutes. He said, "Oh, that's insane." But yeah, I believe it changes everything, because if diarouga was maybe, I don't know, 15 seconds slower than usually because of his H1, while Migo was 15 seconds faster, then when he pushed with the same thing like he does usually, it doesn't work anymore, just because he's slower and the opponent is faster. So yeah, it changes the unit balance a lot.
I mean, that's the thing to notice as well, that Migo was able to chop 200 wood while he was aged up to the second day before pulling all those villagers back onto the hunt, and managed to get the trading post as well as a very fast age up time. I believe he could only age up as fast as the coin shipment gets sent and gathered up, but then once that fortress age was queued up, he could just then invest into musketeers, and that just extra early timing for the 4 Huss, as you said, proved so pivotal, because the hussars came at the right time that diarouga was pushing in, and while the musketeers were still alive. If those musks were cleaned up first, then a batch of Minutemen hussars from the town centre would have been not as effective, and the game could have been going into diarouga's favour at that point.
Yeah, I believe this game was really decided by I don't know if we can say it's mechanics, or I don't know, but it's like the strategy was maybe not wrong. We don't know. The strategy could have worked from diarouga, but it just like everything went well for Migo. He got a good H1, he got a good macro, and then he got a good micro for the first fight. And he was just so much ahead after that the game was basically won. But yeah, maybe if it was the other way around, he would have probably much more trouble holding the first push from diarouga. So interesting to notice.
diarouga has chosen to pick the Ottoman on Fraser River. We have seen a few players countering an Ottoman pick with the Sioux. Usually, though, more often we see this on the map Tuparo, but Fraser River a little bit more open up. We don't have that extra wood crate available for the Ottomans and for the Sioux as well. The Sioux can use their mobility here for this very wide open map, especially when both civs have to push for the resources in the valley. Do you think Migo will be going for a civ like the Sioux, or maybe going for a standard European civ here?
Well, so while you wasn't here, I need to precise that diarouga said he goes for Ottomans, as he was the one picking first, and then Migo said he goes toilets, so he will be right back soon.
So using the toilets to counter the Ottomans,
good strat to dodge.
Using one foul stench against another.
Yeah, but I don't know if Migo plays Sioux.
He's gonna go for the Germans here, and
apparently.
Germany on this map, they do have 2 in-base koi mines, have access to their own separate trading route. It's not a 4TP single trade route. We do see Germans quite often as a counterpick to diarouga, and we'll have to see if diarouga wants to play colonial or fortress. I think Otto's usually going fortress most games, but actually could find even a stronger game plan forcing the German player into a colonial game. But we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I think it's a good match for Germany. I like this counter pick. Unless when there is a big stagecoach, but on this map it's 2 different stagecoach with which makes it quite harder to get all of them. And if you only get one, I don't know if that's quite enough. But yeah, because the problem is when Germany it's H3, you have the war wagon, and it's a lot of struggle for Ottomans to beat that. But we will see what they go for. I don't know if diarouga has something in mind to beat Germany, because we will see. We have seen something interesting from King of Osman. It was going for very aggressive tower FF with 5 Jans during transition to H3, which is not the standard build. But the thing is, it's more like a cheese because I've tried that myself with my team, and if Germany counters it properly with fast FF into some war wagon, it just doesn't work. Interesting to notice that it's a wood start also, which is really good for Germany.
Yeah, so both players actually moving to go for a trading post themselves. diarouga just going for the closest trading post because he knows he's going to have some degree of map control as the game goes on. Migo, though, going for his defensive TP in the far top side of the map, wants to try and get his TP as far away from the action as possible, and so diarouga can decide whether he wants to push the base or the trading routes. Nice treasure here, 40 wood guarded by 1 elk. This elk is going to be standing up and trying to defend his very best versus, but actually that's Migo crackshotting this treasure guardian on the way to drop a trading post, one would have to assume.
Yeah, actually he has chopped only 20 wood, and he intends to take both this treasure with the wheels now and probably this one that he has got it now. So yeah, it will makes it really easy for him to age up with no idle time.
Wow, like the fact I would have felt that it'd been just safer just to camp on this treasure and wait for your crack shot, but picking up an extra 40 wood just out in the open, you don't even know it was there, instead of playing for this safe 40 wood. So Migo now knows he's got another 40 wood to play with. diarouga picking up 90 wood, guided by 3 cougars. Actually a relatively easy treasure pickup, but 90 wood, you'll never say no to a treasure like that. Already spending that wood though on a what did you spend it on? Upgrade? Oh, millet system,
Yeah,
probably. There you go,
yeah,
millet
yeah.
system.
It's quite good actually. On EP, it's only 50 wood, and it pays off in 3 minutes, which is nice because yeah, it means he wouldn't use the wood before that. So and then you get it scales quite good because you get wheels faster. So yeah, at some point you have one more wheels and more. So it's really good upgrade.
That's classic B winner, knowing his timings with the Ottoman civilization. That is the top level analysis commentary that you guys get to hear is B winner's Ottoman strats.
Well, yeah, I think it's quite classic for everyone to go for that right now. But Migo, he's taking another huge wood treasure. So now his transition will be also very smooth with the market, I believe.
But would
Uh,
you rather have 95 wood, or would you rather have Honcho the pet grizzly bear, which is exactly what diarouga is about to pick up now for himself?
oh, tough choice. Well, I think I would rather take the wood because no, the grizzly is not as strong as it used to be. Also, it's still super good because it's better than a Hulan, so you can just defend the raids with the grizzly if you want versus Germany.
Yeah, very, very nice. Diarouga dropping down a second trading post in transition. Look, that's absolutely fine. Now going on to the mine. Looks like he's gathering up the resources. Just a few vills, just gathering up an extra bit of coin just to get to that 100 mark. I assume Diarouga's aging up with the governor age up at this point. No, he's going up with the quartermaster instead.
Yeah, because yeah, as I told you, there is this option from Tower FF that Osman did versus Samwise, but that's not usually something that works versus Germany. So you rather go for some H2 play, and you try to force Germany to play H2 as well, usually. Also, we will see, because since Migog's got a good H1, maybe he will still be able to FF. Let's see. Depends what Diarouga will be doing. He's not dropping any military. Oh, okay, a Rax.
Well, that is a very strange place to drop it. He might actually be quite lucky though, because it looks like this is a very wide passageway across the water. Usually, the water kind of wraps it round and cuts off at least down to the right side where that barracks is, as we can kind of see the equivalents on the other side. But it looks like it's a very wide passageway, so that barracks easy accessed to the stage, to the trading post line of Migo. And I thought maybe that was placed in a way to really hide it away from the German player, but actually, considering that you can cross this entire raised plateau area, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I believe one reason to place it here is that maybe he wants to, at some point, kill the TP from Migo. So he doesn't want to be too far from it and not too far from Migo's base either. But the thing is, okay, he's dropping. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, Germany can usually just straight age up when you go for only one rack start. Also, I don't believe Migo has spotted what Diarouga is doing, which is a kind of big problem.
And that Honcho, the pet grizzly, has been just taken down by Miguel, the German explorer. Looks like to be. Oh, he's trapped in the forest. He's walked into a tree and couldn't get away, and now the snare's in. Fire Jan's approaching. That German explorer is going to get down. Trying to put it away with the German Uhlans, but no, couldn't get it there in time. But those Uhlans are now probably going to run away opposite direction to where the Janissaries are, hoping to get a raid themselves, but Ottoman don't have a great eco. That means their in-base resources last a little bit longer. It'd be tough to see if these Uhlans pick off anything substantial here, but is there Abus in queue? Could these Abus get picked off here? Only one Abus though in queue.
Yeah, and he's coming back with the chance. Actually, Migo is going for crossbowman, I believe, or at least he has a racks, and that's really bad versus Jan Abus. It's like, yeah, why? Yeah, it's really. So I like the position of Diarouga now because he has the stagecoach already, so they have about the same eco. Well, it's still slightly better for Migo, but if you take in account that Diarouga is training wheels for free. They have about the same eco, and the units from Diarouga will just counter the units from India bot. Oh, also, he's not making Abus. In fact, he's aging.
Yeah, he sent the 700 food behind us to get the food required to age. That was really smart there from diarouga, moving with Explorer first to snare some villagers and just make it so that it's quite slower to get the pull the villagers into the town centre to save them. These settler wagons though tank so much HP even without their great coats, 30% range resist and 300 base HP. Should be able to keep all these guys alive. But diarouga is just trading off his Jans with these small batch of crossbows, which have, you know, kind of been ineffective really, like not even as good as the town centre fire.
Yeah, and the thing is, the build from Migo seems a bit strange, because he's shipped 3 wheels and 700 wood, or wood rate, but he has made some crossbowmen, and he's going H3 with no 700 gold, and the thing is, when you want to do this build, you don't train crossbowmen, and then you can age up with gathering all the gold, but know that he has made some crossbowmen, it's really slow, so he's gonna age up, like close to 9 minutes, or well, a bit earlier, but still, and that's gonna be a problem because diarouga is already H3. So he will outmass diarouga, I believe.
Yeah, and the other thing to be a bit thinking about if you're the German and kind of worrying as well, Lady Luck has not been kind to you. Gaia has granted you a forward silver mine instead of defensive behind the base silver mine, and you've only got 500 coin remaining. Where are you going to get the coin for a big batch of war wagons? You're dropping down a stable now defensively, but you've only got enough coin for 3, maybe 4 at max, and after you're kind of having to push forward for this silver mine. I want this passage here to be walled, and he's going to wall the markets to the cliff, but it's not enough range to protect any villagers gathering here from a Jan batch for shooting over the wall.
Yeah, let's see, but maybe he can try to sneak some builds here if he's in trouble, or I don't know, but he's not really anticipating it right now, it seems like. Well, maybe he has a plan. Did he ship something else? No. He's H4, so he has 2 shipments that he will ship early on in H3, so that will give him some timing, maybe. But no, the Falconets are already pushing in.
diarouga showing his dominance, pushing in with Falconets on their own, no cover just yet. Jan's nearby, 3 war wagons, first unit shipment from India Bot, as to be expected. Does have a stable behind, training more units. Does have the wood available to drop down another house. 3 war wagons in queue, but that coin mine is out. Falconets are sitting on this forward coin mine. This is a sticky situation for India Bot already.
He's going for this one, I believe. But he has already quite some war wagon out, so that's nice. But diarouga is now training some Abes to counter that, and since he had the friendly from H2, yeah, he maybe will have time to train enough. Let's see. But okay, now comes the second military shipment, and that might be go time from Migo. He's moving a bit forward.
I've just realised that diarouga aged up with the Exiled Prince instead of the Scout, and those 4 extra Hussars on age up provide Ottoman that extra ability to snare and maybe force the war wagons to attack the Hussars while your Janissaries pick off his war wagons. And now there's no Hussars here, the war wagons are going to go straight into the Falconets, but actually diarouga putting his Falconets just enough back to force these units to overcommit, and I think diarouga's getting an alright trade, but actually Migo's be quite satisfied with how that went for himself. He's now got Skirmisher, War Wagon Mass versus Pure Jans, a couple of Abus and 1 Falconet. I'll be happy if I'm Migo, and now you've got villagers on this coin mine to the top side. Remass potentials for the German player is quite strong.
Yeah, I believe I wouldn't be happy if I was Migo here, because yeah, well, maybe he still wins, so never mind. But yeah, the thing is, after this push, there is not much going for Germany, while diarouga has this second TC, and I don't know how many mosque upgrade he has. Let's check that. No, he just has the first one, so he needs to get some more, because when you have 2 TCs, the mosque upgrades are really insane. But anyway, he will get them at some point, I believe. It's quite easy to do when you have 2 trading posts with a stagecoach, so you can get the wood easily. So I believe the Ottoman's remass will be much stronger, especially since there was this shipments from Migo, but okay, now there is 9 Uhlans, so he has another opportunity. But after that, it will become tougher and tougher for him to push out. So that maybe knows the time when he needs to break the position.
Well, you can see he's moving forward. He's trained a batch of 5 war wagons. He's still got the skirmishers alive from that skirmisher shipment and that barracks play. But now 9 Uhlans coming in with the veterancy being researched before these guys are entering the field. Okay, looks like the skirmishers will see the Abus guns and try and pick off maybe 1 or 2 Abus guns before the rest of the cavalry engages. But I think there's enough war wagons here. Uhlans are forcing the Janissaries forward, and then the war wagons can just clean up the Jans behind this. I think this is a good engagement time for Migo, and he's going to try to hope to get as good of a trade as possible, as you was talking about Otto having 2 town centres and good remass potential here.
Yeah, it's quite close. The Explorer from diarouga has tanked so much from just earlier in this fight, and there is no Uhlans anymore. With this Minuteman from diarouga, I think he might be fine.
Yeah, when like sort of see Janissary is only 12 range, these war wagons having 16. It's usually we say it's the war wagons have to do the kiting, but it's actually the Jans having to run away because they just couldn't really engage, and just trying their best to let these veteran Abus guns try and pick off units as best as possible. Diarouga's a big fan of Abus guns. He's got another 5 being trained right now. I wonder what his next shipment would be though, because he doesn't really have the resources for Spahis or Mamelukes, and he's used up all his other shipments. Could go for 8 Janissaries here.
Oh, okay, 5 Abus he shipped, but yeah, maybe the gold. Okay, the Janissaries, he was right. There is 1k gold that is an option too. It's quite good. And the 5 Hussars are also an option, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like Diarouga's trade posts are currently set to the coin income, so he's going to get his residue coin income from that, but doesn't want to overcommit here. 8 Uhlans been popping out, and war wagons and skirmishers coming from the right side. This is a good engagement here for Migo, it looks like. He's caught the Ottoman army far away from any reinforcements, and 11 Jans are quickly reinforcing, but the current Jans in this army have just been picked off very, very fast by the skirmisher war wagons.
Yeah, it's quite close. Well, yeah, nice that he's shipped the 8 Jans. I think it might be enough, but not so sure. Let's see. It's really close game so far.
Yeah, it's enough to deal with the Uhlans, but now it's just the Abus guns trying to pick off these war wagons one by one. War wagons, though, not even only having hand resist, nor range resist, but these guys do siege damage. Should be able to get some good damage off on these war wagons, and I think trading these vet war wagons off, no, the vet Abus guns versus the vet war wagons, I think it's in the favour of Diarouga here slightly.
Well, the thing is, if they trade fair for a long time, at some point diarouga will be ahead because of this town center once again. Also because he has the second mosque upgrade now, so his village count is increasing slowly, and he still has the stagecoach. So yeah, at some point he will be ahead surely if he keeps trading like that for long enough.
There's only 6 war wagons remaining. Diarouga, no way to send Spahis. Could send the 5 Hussars at this point. Not the greatest shipment, but actually be quite useful just to divert some war wagon fire and allow these veteran Abus guns to pick off these war wagons.
Yeah, also to make sure he has enough to protect from the Uhlans, because his Jans count is running quite low right now. So a batch of 1 only. So if there is more Uhlan coming, I don't know. Or maybe there won't be any more Uhlans. Oh, okay, 5 Archer is quite nice, actually.
Yeah, these Cav Archers, it'd be nice just to keep these at the back line just to protect from any Uhlans play. Don't want to send these forwards to tank the war wagon or skirmisher fire, because the war wagons can't do that. The Abus guns can kind of do that themselves with their range resist. And when you only got 5 anti-cavalry units, you kind of want to protect these. Migo trained another batch of 5 Uhlans here with the 7 skirmisher shipment, which gives you 3 Uhlans on that shipment as well. Migo now has probably about 7 Uhlans remaining alive, and it's now feeling that it's a bit equal between the players. It was previously felt Migo had the military advantage. Now it's kind of returned to equal, and I'm fearing that the longer this goes on, the more Abus guns Diarouga's going to pump out here, and just the more in favour of Ottoman it's going to be over time.
Yeah, the thing is, every engagement, Migo was just killing the Jans, which were quite tanky, and so that wasn't so efficient, but he never managed to kill the giants and then still have some Uhlans to clean up the Abyss. So he never took that big trade that would have won the game. And now I believe it's close to be over because I don't think he will ever do that now. And yeah, the position from diarouga is quite unbreakable.
Do you think Migo could have had the opportunity to send a card like Cavalry Combat when he had that massive war wagons, about 8-9 war wagons? He did time it with the 9 Ulan shipments, very, very strong, but 8 Ulans and 7 skirmishers afterwards could have been a Cav Combat upgrade.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was constantly fighting and never really massing a lot of units. So you don't really want to send units upgrade when you are during you are not massing many units. So because for Cav combat to pay off, you need to have quite a lot of Cav and
time out. Migo's army is trapped. He's ran into the corner, but there's no passageway this side. And he sent skirms over here, thinking he can get out, but he can't. He's trapped. He has to fight this. This is going to be the game deciding moments.
Yeah, well, it's the moment where he will lose, I believe.
Jan combat's just come in, but not too many Jans out in the field, but reinforcements from diarouga looking fine. 3 Jans, 3 Abyss guns coming. Abyss guns at the back being shielded away from the Uhlans. Now that all the Uhlans coming in, these Abyss guns can just go to town, picking off these skirmishers. Jan's trying to do their best to take the war wagons. It's just skirmishers here, and actually could go into hand combat with his Cav archers just to get the snail on these skirmishers. And this should be a fine fight for diarouga, and Migo calling the GG there.
Yeah, nice game. Quite good micro from diarouga for his Abyss, I would say. Yeah, I'm very proud of you. Oh, he said I shouldn't be proud of him.
Well, it wasn't the standard Bottle FF or the double Rex Jan. It was like a hybrid between, do I go Jan Abyss Colonial, then I'm gonna go Agent behind this. What can I say? I'm sure you can play this matchup better.
Well, in fact, the thing is, it was fine because it was quite countering what Migo was doing, but yeah, maybe because Migo also did something not so optimal with this 5 crossbowmen semi-FF. He was a bit suspicious build.
I can't see the text completed now. If you go into the villager population, I assume that diarouga at least got the second villager speed upgrade tech from the mosque, because the villager population just accelerates from diarouga on 2 town centres and empowers the training units between the pair of them. It's like having 3 unupgraded TCs compared to 1. That's the difference between diarouga's early eco versus the eco he was getting towards the end of that game, and the difference was stark, especially when you're not investing into villagers. All that eco is being put into military population, and you can see the trades that diarouga was taking. He was taking some decent trades while he was down in military population. Migo had the more units and population, but never could really break what diarouga had. But then eventually diarouga was just climbing in population. I mean, got to that kind of respectable mass of Abyss guns and Janissaries, which was very, very hard to deal with as the German player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not anymore in the game to check the stats, but I noticed at some point in the game that he got the second villager upgrade. I don't know if he got the third. I don't think so. But yeah, when you have 2 TCs, it's really insane, because already with 1 TC, the third villager upgrade is increasing your villager production as much as the second TC. So when you have 2 TC, like getting the third upgrade is like getting 2 more TCs or something like that. So it's really insane because it's only 300 wood, which is not so expensive. So I believe you should always try to get them as soon as possible. Also here, obviously the priority was to hold the forward base, because yeah, if you can hold it, you win the game. But he probably had in mind to get it at some point.
Yeah, certainly, and it's interesting to know that when you said that it was you need all 3 upgrades to kind of mimic a double town centre of the Ottoman. So when you have 2 of these triple upgraded town centres, it's like 4 archaic town centres. Which when you think of it like that, you're thinking, wow, that's so strong. Especially when you're not investing into resources. And at the end of the game, the all resources graph was very, very close between both players, but some of that resources from the German player was invested into those villagers, where the Ottomans just spending it all into my Janissaries and Aegis guns. And the German player, yes, he had 3 Uhlans with his shipments, but after losing that training post in the second age due to his Janissaries, it felt that diarouga just had enough eco just to mass just enough units to protect from those Uhlans.
Yes, it was kind of close actually, because he was not far from breaking the position every time, but yeah, he didn't make it, so eventually, yeah, diarouga won. Was interesting, but now we move on to Adirondacks, which is quite a different map. And India bot is straight looking Spain, so I guess he has something in mind for that. What do you think diarouga can pick against that?
I think it's going to be Aztecs again, because this map, though, is much more narrower and smaller, so there's no way the Spanish player can go for a second TC and kind of expand out to the side and get the eco going. diarouga will have, it'd be much easier. Remember how diarouga went for that 10 Puma Spearman play? It's not like he has to guess where those train posts are now. He can be 2 war huts right in the center, tear down the middle TP if that's been built, but he knows where the in-base train post is, and he can just go straight into the base. So I think diarouga is going to stay with either the Ottomans or the Aztecs here, because it is a Civ reset.
Yeah, right. I believe this is true, because also I didn't mention it, but after the game, diarouga was quite upset that his plan didn't work. Like he was PMing me that it should work, but had some problem with the treasures, and so maybe he will pick again Aztec just to show the world that his plan was right.
Who knows? Maybe the plan worked, but diarouga is just a scrub. Like who knows? Like maybe if he told you the plan, he wrote out the build order, told you what the cards you need to send in what order, you could show us that you could crush Indiabot's Spanish.
Yeah, surely. The mechanics are so much better.
I still think from the Aztec point of view, you could go Shaman 700 wood, 600 wood, and then just mass off your shipments. Well, mass off your units there and there, because you have more wood to spend on your Coyote Runners and Mace Sultans. You still have that good XP income from the warrior priest dancing, and maybe that one TP as well. But then you can just push in with that larger mass and allow the Spanish player to get to the fortress stage. That's not the issue. But then push in with a unkillable army when the Spanish player is relatively weak position after investing all those resources. Okay, they have 4 Hussars out in the field, but you're pushing in now with, 15 Pumas, 10 Coyotes, and 25 Mace. But going for the Eero here, so slightly different Civ. I'm expecting a similar playstyle though.
Yeah, but I'm a bit disappointed that we won't know if his build works or not. Also, what you said was quite interesting, and in fact, yeah, that's true. That when you age up with the 2 warheads, you want to use them. So usually you ship many crates, because if you age up with 2 warheads and then just ship units, I don't know if you are really using the 2 warheads, and maybe you should just age up fast, because I don't know if it really makes sense. But on the other side, I guess diarouga knows what he's doing, because he knows Aztec much better than we do. So probably I will trust him on his plan.
We will see. It is a Huron settlements here, so it'd be a bit tough for the Eero player to drop down a Huron settlements and train Hurons from the native TP. But the Eero, they do have a mercenary Huron mantlet shipment for 500 coin in the second age, which could actually be somewhat useful in a matchup where you're trying to put siege pressure onto your opponents while they're trying to age up. Probably not being seen here, but you never know. That could be adopted by some players later on. We did see Hazza taking a victory off Lucas L99 in week 1 with a Huron mantlet play.
Oh yeah, I missed this one, but I heard about that. But yeah, I don't believe that's really diarouga's style. We need that's more SKG style, but we won't. I don't believe we will see that. I believe we will rather see something in H3, straight FF from diarouga.
I suppose that's the option, because you can get the crates into the second age, messenger age up to the third age, while the Spanish is stuck waiting for their age up due to the slow age, and then go for mass musket riders. It feels like musket riders just kind of counter everything that the Spanish player has. But then if you're going for that strategy, then you could just go for Sioux instead with their rifle riders, with multipliers versus both artillery, heavy infantry, and heavy cavalry.
Yeah, exactly. And also the musket riders are really good at killing the falcons because they have 2.5 multiplier against them instead of the only 2 multiplier from goons, I believe. So they are really useful against Spain, especially since Spain struggle a bit to get a lot of skirms out early on since they don't have a skirm shipment. So yeah, I believe it's quite a good match for Iroquois. Also because they can age up really fast. Like usually they are age 3 before 7 minutes, I believe, with 5 wheels still in the back. So yeah, and also they have the infrastructure for free with this age up war hut and stable.
We will find out after all our postulating whether diarouga is going to go second age playstyle here or third age. He's currently leading the series 2-1. We're into game number 4 on Adirondacks, and Migo chose to pick as the Spanish as first pick into Adirondacks. diarouga countering with the Eero civilization, and he'll be spawning in the right hand side in the colour blue as the Eero, with Amigo spawning left hand side in the colour teal. We do see a food crate start for both players, so just a 100 wood for Migo, no wood for diarouga, and will be probably forced to build a longhouse with his Discovery Age Travois.
Yes, I'm checking the hands also. Do you think it's good? Because I believe Migo might have significantly worse hunt.
He can herd in, well, yeah, he can herd in one. His second hunt is a bit far, and by the time the second and third hunts come into play, it's a bit challenging. In terms of Adirondacks spawns, I think this is all right. I think we're going to take this one because we could go into an endless rehost trying to achieve perfection, but I think that's the one thing you need to expect in this map. If it's you're picking civs to depend on the map, and Adirondacks is one of those maps you really want to get that out there and get that map control so you can actually fight for hunts like this a little bit easier. But if you're sitting in base with the Spanish, then maybe that might be a decision that Migo may regret.
Yeah, we will see, but let's say that's okay, you're right.
Yeah, I'll take the map, and I'll take any comments, criticisms from the two players, but they have the sea. The Spanish player has schooners. He could go for a dock in transition and then get for a few bit of fishing boats. You never know. Highly unlikely, but you never know.
No, he doesn't have schooners. But yeah, I would have also really liked if diarouga has gone for a dock with his travois, because that's a build that I was doing a lot at some point, and yeah, I love it. But he didn't go for that. It was known as a B-Fisher build, so I loved when players were doing that.
That was really nice India bot. He did have the Gentle Pete, the Black Bear pet treasure, interrupts diarouga with his attempts to take down his 90 coin treasure, and I was wondering why diarouga was going for 90 coin instead of the nearby wood treasure of 90 food, but when the Black Bear came in, diarouga had to kite away from that Black Bear, but that reset both of these wolves. And it looks like Migo's now going for the 90 coin, which is going to be much more beneficial for the Spanish player to help get that early age up to the third age in queue and minimize the amount of coin that needs to be mined. diarouga, on the other hand, going for the Iroquois Tomahawk, the vanilla unit that is, and I respect the decision to back away from that treasure and now go for a native. Helps other treasures on the map, but also somewhat forces Migo to go for in-base outposts with his age up and play in his base.
Yeah, could be. By the way, I also wanted to mention that there is one thing that is quite strong for Iroquois in this matchup, is that they can quackshot the dog, and actually diarouga did and killed the dog really early in this game. And this kind of prevent Spain to go for ATP build, because then you can't just control the TPs with your dog, because yeah, the explorer is just quackshotting them, and that's quite good stuff for Rivercross that you usually can't do that because Quackshot doesn't work versus heroes on villagers. But Spain have this unit so that this Quackshot is still useful in Age 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised this 100 food treasure hasn't been picked up by either player, but I think it's just because diarouga has only just scouted this now, and that was not revealed by Migo for the time being. Looks like Migo, though, very wisely herding in his third or second hunt. Let's call it the second hunt, shall we say, or second extra hunt into his town centre radius. He's only got one elk hunt underneath his town centre, so he's very curious by the map is against him in this point. Not in terms of map spawn, but the actual map Adirondacks itself. It doesn't give you a back safe hunts, and so has to try and push out and control this, and even going to be sending his outposts, I want to say, yeah, slightly to the top side of the town centre, just to try and cover this extra hunt being pushed in.
Yeah, and he's trying to use his TC to prevent diarouga's Explorer from sieging his tower, so he's probably a bit afraid about H2 play from diarouga, but diarouga aged up slow, and I don't believe he will really do any aggression. Maybe he will just use the big button to get 5 Tomahawks out and siege this TP. Yeah, I believe he might do that and then straight go H3.
Having a look at Migo's deck, he does have not too many cards in the second age, but you don't really want to sit too long in the second age. Does have cavalry attack. Third age, standard rack of shipments here. No fort wagon, but does have double lancer, double rods, and cav combat. No hand infantry combat here. Choosing to go for the 5 hussars instead. Could have the hand cavalry combat instead of the caballeros. Upgrade for the lancers. Falconets and Spanish gold, rounding that up.
Yeah, and he has many H4 cards. Do you think it's in his mind to go H4 maybe at some point?
I think it gives Migo the option, but in a map or matchup where you might be under pressure, maybe the fort wagon in the deck may not. You don't have to use the fort wagon, but it may give the confidence to the defender player that I have the option to send a fort wagon if I want to then allow me to go to the next stage. I feel that if Migo wants to try and go and rush to the 4th age with just a town centre outpost and maybe war explorer with war dogs and maybe a batch of muskets, it may be a bit slow. And will he have enough resources in base? And this TP is now being taken down. Will he have enough XP coming in to give a good shipments progression to even get to the 4th age? I think Migo is going to go 3rd age and try and just go to the 3rd age and then evaluate his playstyle and the game situation at that point.
Yeah, and actually,
dock.
Because
there's a dock. There's a dock.
Oh, whoa! That's quite greedy, but I don't know if it will work because diarouga. I was wrong. I thought he would go for H3 play, but he has shipped 6 Tomahawks, used the big button and 25 more. So that's on 5 more no coming. So that's really a lot of Tomahawks. And with a dock, that's not really the best defensive option you can get. Let's see if Migo will all.
Well, Migo might get a coin for 1 more musketeer. He's currently sat at 20 coin, but with no market, he can't sell his food off for a batch of coin to then get a Minutemen batch. He could have cancelled 1 musketeer, sold 1 batch of food, and get enough coin available for Minutemen. But at the moment, it looks like diarouga is utilising this window to take down his outpost, and once again going for a time and push into the Spanish age up here. I'm hoping that the Spanish players aging up with, well, I don't know actually at this point, because 4 hussars are going to get wrecked by the Tomahawks, and only a couple of musketeers try and defend. Migo, first shipment, what would he send in this next age?
Yeah, I don't know. And also, one problem is you were talking about buying some, selling some food, but Migo doesn't have a market, so he can do that, and I believe he won't ever get Minutemen due to that. Yeah, I don't believe anything can hold for Migo right now.
And just imagine if he had that woods saved from the dock. But okay, batch of 5 war dogs. War dogs very good versus Tomahawks here, but very sensible. Waiting for a age 3 shipment before engaging. I feel engaging early here could be a game losing move. diarouga has seen the war dogs and hussars. I know diarouga knows that Migo is waiting for a shipment. Is that shipment coming in though? Has Migo just cancelled it though? I don't think he's cancelled it. There must be one on the way. He's currently population blocked and no units in queue.
Oh, do you think he was popped and couldn't send anything? No, I don't believe so.
9
No, okay.
rods.
Is it enough though? I doubt.
I think it's all right actually. The amount of villagers here punching down, and actually villagers punching is certainly an underused tactic. Rodolero is very strong in hand combat. It actually cleans up because the Tomahawks have to try and go into hand combat versus the Rodoleros, but these guys tank up so much of that damage, and they just allow those war dogs and a few hussars, town centre fire to kind of do pretty well there. I'm expecting once these villagers go back to work on the hunts. Maybe he's only got one fishing boat at the moment. It's a bit sad, but some more dogs to be trained just to help defend anymore. And diarouga getting cleaned up, but has bought himself some time here. But 5 Lancers, though, these 5 Tomahawks, if they move forward, they're dead. They have to run away. And 7 Hyenas, they're going to get cleaned up if they get scouted out.
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit surprised by how well it went for Migo. Let's see, how many vills did he lost in the process? 4 of them, so that's significant, but definitely worth it. Yeah, I don't know who gives the advantage. No, it's quite close. Yeah, it's an interesting game. Maybe, yeah, gives the advantage to Migo still, probably, because he has this age up. Oh, and let's see,
But surely he needs to fight the Tomahawks first, pick off the Tomahawks, but he's fighting away from his Rodoleros, and you know, raiding with all your cavalry or trying to pick off these Hyenas, it was risky, but he's somewhat traded his units off in a way of doing it. We have Malasite donating $295. Had to fill the bar. Temptation was too strong. Great series. Love ESOC. Jokes on you, Malasite. I'm sure somebody will just increase that bar length. So, but that's a big donation. Thank you very much for that, indeed. And previously, I think we had a resubscription from Camiroo. So, cheers for that as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah. So now, I feel like the Lancer were a bit wasted, and 1k wood. Wow, that's greedy. And yeah, and the thing is, diarouga has seen the wood, so he's just pushing right now. Let's see.
3 skirms coming out, but they'll be very useful if they had that range advantage. Minutemen have been called as well. Now Lancers, Rods, and Dogs are here to snare. I think this is getting another good fight for Migo because it has enough range units to deal well with the Tomahawks while they're snared. And actually, the Lancers being focused down by diarouga, but they're not the biggest concern here. The biggest concern is the ranged infantry and the Rodoleros snaring these war dogs. 22 hand attack per bite, I guess. It's not per swing, it's per bite.
Yes, that's insane unit, in fact, when you think about that, because they are so cheap.
And Migo needed to send the wood for the dock to pay off, because otherwise that dock would sit idle. So we're going to see more fishing boats being made. And currently, look at the boats in the water. Only 4 at the moment, but we're starting to get a little bit of payoff from that. We're still quite down compared to even sending 4 vil at this point and keeping your villagers alive from having an earlier pop of Minutemen. But Migo, he's starting to stabilise here, and I feel that sitting in the 3rd age with veteran skirmishers, veteran lancers behind this, those dogs, Migo has the tools, and he hasn't even sent his falconet shipment as well. Falconets with a trained batch of Rodoleros in the barracks that could fend away any more pressure from diarouga in the 2nd age, and diarouga still in age 2. I feel that trying to continue now in age 2 is, well, suicide.
Yeah, but does he really have a choice? Because, okay, yeah, maybe he has, but it's quite risky at the same time to age up, because then you give a big window to your opponent to pressure you. Also, I don't believe diarouga knows about the dock, so maybe he thinks he's really far ahead in eco, while in fact it's quite close. They have about the same eco right now.
Yeah, diarouga shipping 600 wood, and that the intentions there is just to mass more Tomahawks and Kanya horsemen off that shipment. Could have gone 600 coin instead, but it looks like he's going for more massive units. He's used his unit shipments. Could send infantry attack at some point, but he's going to look at his army and probably think, nope, I'm just going to retreat at this point because it's quite hard to focus down as Minutemen. Hero Warchief's been revived from that Kanya. He's gone in for that hero rescue mission and is going to carry that Warchief out back towards the remainder of his units, buffing the entire army. You can see the town centre try its best to focus down diarouga's Explorer. Now joined back up. These guys are going to go in for another hit, but diarouga really needs to crack shot into the Minutemen and try and kill multiple units at once with his special ability.
Yeah. So yeah, do you? Yeah, the question is, when will diarouga be able to stun the Falcons? No, I don't believe he can right now because he needs more Rodelleros before doing that. Since diarouga has quite some cav now.
I don't know. I feel that the Falconets kind of force your opponents to kind of commit in, and you can capitalize that. You do have enough Rodelleros to deal with some of the cav. Okay, you might lose the Falconets, but if you can pick off all of these Canyons as a result, then you still have the skirmishers and lancers behind to deal with the tomahawks. And whether it's a good trade or not for Migo with his Falconets, it's certainly awkward for diarouga to deal with, whether it's that deals with it well or not. But okay, Falconets coming out, so it looks like we can go for the engagement, but Falconets in the woods actually. This is a quite good defensive position. diarouga all the Rodelleros they'll struggle to get onto the Falconets, but so will the Canyon Horsemen struggle to get that path in they need.
Yeah, diarouga identifies that he can't fight here. He will just lose everything, so he prefers to go back, but he has lost quite some units in the process. So no, it's a good spot for Migo to push out. The thing is, those Rodelleros, they are still not veterans. I don't know if Migo will try to upgrade that. He has some villagers on wood and gold. Let's check unit in queue.
I think he's got to go for the veteran upgrade now because he's got he's got another Rodellero in queue, and when you have the Falconet support, I don't think veteran Rodelleros it's very, very good, but actually the Falconets here are the kind of damage dealers. You just need Rodelleros just to tank the cavalry. Whoa. And then even a villager pull here, he wants to try and pull these and knock down these Falconets, but actually the villagers getting on top of the Falconets relatively easily already, and the Rodelleros, they don't know whether to body block the villagers or actually engage the canyons, and this is as good as engagement diarouga can hope for.
Yeah, like, I don't know, Migo struggled a bit to protect this, and he's losing quite a lot of army. I don't know, that's a trade. The big question is whether he will be able to take down all the Kenyas or not, because if he does so, then he can escape the skirm, and will some villagers kills, he might be fine.
There's still one dog available. That Smash Explorer goes down. It would have been nice if you got another batch of dogs during that engagement, but that reinforcing batch of 5 rods from the barracks was just enough to pick off the remainder of the cavalry. But now it's just, remember, these are just villagers. They're not anything more than villagers. Not even with their the Spirit Medicine upgrade, and then just a few tomahawks. That War Chief goes down as well, and even diarouga going the GG well played, and that was actually pretty impressive from Migo, especially that Rodellero first shipment in the Fortress Age to defend that Tomahawk push.
Yes, it was like, that's my favorite game of this series so far. That was really good. Really great play for Migo. He's showing he's good as Spain player. I didn't know he was that good with them actually. Quite impressive.
If the players are still in the game, they can see that. But B Fisher is proud, aren't you? You're proud of him for going for the dock, playing Adirondacks, and we don't see docks being made in maps with massive water potential, but even just a small water lake with fishes. Looks like the Spanish player has realised that if he can get a little bit of extra food income, then he can preserve the life of some of his extra hunts in his town centre. And therefore, he doesn't have to push out on the map at an earlier point and get cleaned up by the Aero army.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously you don't want to go for 3 docks and schooners and make 30 fishing boats out, because then you just delete them after 5 minutes and it's really awkward. But when you go for this kind of fishing boom, it doesn't matter if there is no whales, because you are never gonna finish all these fish anyway with like 10 fishing boats. So that was quite some smart play, because also if you're gathering food from there, you don't need as much map as you would otherwise. So it enabled Migo to stay defensive a bit longer than he would otherwise.
And also Adirondacks, 2 in-base coin mines as well, so it's not like you need the coin income from the sea. You still have 2 mines to gather from, and the Spanish player, again, not the greatest land eco going. Those coin mines were still had enough amount of coin in it, about 700 each coin mine, and it was still making batches of Rodelleros and Lancers quite comfortably, so that mass was pretty strong there. But just look at that military population graph. It doesn't include the dogs, I think, and I think that's the one part of the graph, it's kind of misrepresented here, but diarouga's army, it was about 24 tomahawks and a few extra units just being mopped up and going down to about 2 population. Another reinforcing batch of 5 tomahawks were marching across to the Smash player's base, but decided to run away, and thankfully he did at that point, because if those 5 tomahawks as well then got cleaned up, then that AN shipments would have been mopped up by those lancers. But Dairog was able to remass, try go out for another big push, but the Falconets was just enough to give Migo the edge there, even if it's just the entire army focusing down the Falconets. You need to remember the Spanish army then, with the rods, the lancers, and the dogs, in that split second was getting some good damage off in the Era army, and yeah, managed to trade off the army as while the villager count from Dairug was just falling and not gathering.
Yeah. Well, this hold was really impressive. It was kind of the same like he did on his previous Spanish game. Like, I see the position and I think, oh, whoa, what the fuck? He will just lose. There is no way he can hold that. And then he pops units, time everything very well, and goes with a nice micro. And twice he did that, he holds it and wins the game after that. That's really nice. Also, now they are playing Lumako, the last map, and Diarouga has picked Otto again already.
Ottoman mirror, I guess. Any advances? Migo could have gone Spanish on this map, I guess, but he's already used it for Adirondacks. I wonder if Migo's got another Civ which can challenge what Ottoman's going again. Could go Germany again, to be honest. Like, I don't think India bot had a bad Germany game on Fraser River, and on this map, actually, I think that early would create. It helps the German player a little bit, because you start to chop a single bit of wood and you can get up a fast age up to the second age, fast age up to the third age, TP down, so the Ottoman player will have to see drone TP down if he wants to go for a stagecoach play. And I think mass war wagons from Migo on a map like this is certainly achievable.
Yeah, I believe there is 2 options, which will be either China or Germany, because I don't believe Migo is confident with going Auto Mirror versus Diarouga. And there we go, he goes for China. We have seen this matchup between Soldier and I don't remember who on this same map, and Soldier had one with China, but yeah, that's quite nice for China to have this extra wood crate as well, because you are sure to get a TP in age 1 at least. Okay, so you are not here, I guess. But yeah, interesting matchup. People say it's quite good for China. Also, there is quite some scary options for Ottomans. So the easiest option is to go for kind of aggressive Hussars plus Jan combo, and try to prevent China from aging up. And then, yeah, sometimes it can be tricky to do something as China, but this is maybe not so good if China decides to play H2 or to go for a 300 export semi with some redcoats. Another option is to go for a very greedy FF as Ottomans, because then you might win in long run, but not sure. But that's something kind of tricky for China to hold. But the problem is, with any kind of FF as Ottomans, it gets kind of shut down by the mortal shipment from China if they think about using it. Also, there is also some other options that can work. You can go for early spies, which are really good against China, because China mainly use infantry as anti-cav, and spies are really good at killing them. So then you don't kill the spies, you just die sometimes. Tower FF can be an option with a stagecoach behind as well, but yeah, as I said, it also not so good versus mortars.
Do you think the Ottoman player could do anything of a fast revolt? You can wall down the south side of that coin mine and the cliff. You would probably have a early 2-1 TP advantage, so you should have enough XP to kind of get your shipments in progression. And then you talk about spies clean up the Chinese army. What about 20 Imperial Hussars?
Yeah, maybe. I don't believe Diarouga will do that, but could be an option also. Yeah, the problem is that there is the Manchus. Also, you probably need a fort to defend, otherwise you might lose your TC. And also, China Death Ball is kind of big at the point where you get the revolt. So the revolt is not great against China usually, because even with the revolt army, sometimes you don't kill them because it's giving them a lot of time, and you don't really want to do that. Also, an option could be to go water for Ottomans, but I don't know if Diarouga will do that. I don't think he's familiar with Ottomans water.
He's also a massive I won't say critic, but he has explained multiple times on the forum why water on this map is just not really viable. It's just not enough resources in the water to make it viable, considering that it's very hard to defend your docks due to how being far from your town centre it is, and you still have 3 TPs. Both players going straight for that TP line, and diarouga, he was seeing if he could go for this train post and see if Migo was there, but imagined to be able to put down his own TP here, but would start for both players. And diarouga is going for millet system, house, and 1 trading post instead of house, 2 trading posts. What do you think of this difference?
Oh, I think that's really good. That's the standard way of playing it, because the thing is, by the time you get your second trading post, you would have gathered so much more XP with the mosque already. So that's better to go for the mosque and mile system, because yeah, it's too late, and you can see that Diarouga has almost his shipment already. He will have it now.
I don't know what this village is doing out this far from the town centre. He has scouted his southern. Well, he hasn't scouted his southern herd hunt, but he should know that a hunt always spawns down here for Migo. He scouted his hunt on the right side, but he looks like to be herding this guanaco hunt from the middle very, very, very early. And I suppose you are given some leeway due to the fact that Migo started with an extra wood crate, so village and town trading posts put down with no wood having to be chopped. So he's just purely gathering food at this point, but very curious to see that villager herding so early into this game.
Especially since it's the 4th hunt of Migo, so I don't think you want to herd that. He's also going to herd this one already. So apparently he is very concerned about his herding. But then he also has this one, which is closer than this one. So I believe it was a bit unnecessary to go for it right now, but okay.
Yeah, so like Migo is herding the equivalent of that hunt of diarouga, and you're thinking, oh wow, that's some early herding. But I guess this villager at the moment is gathering food and just very occasionally shooting back the other guanacos at this point. It's not like it's not gathering food; it's still gathering. Maybe not as efficient as it would be if it didn't have to walk out this far, but it's not losing as many resources as you think it would be, and may slow down the age up by 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I don't think it's going to be that huge in the grand scheme of things, but it's just going to give Migo the possibility of pushing this hunt onto this coin mine here, and then defending both the coin mine and the hunt together with a village, maybe a castle. But I think herding it is fine, but it depends on if diarouga is going to be aggressive or passive.
Yeah, the thing is, Migo also didn't eat his goats, as you usually see China's player do. So all in all, it can slow down a bit his age up, especially, well, no, actually not that much, because he also decided to skip 1 villager. But no, he's putting only 1 villager on the Wonder, so...
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Mito FF build where you don't send 700 coin, so... I'm not as familiar with this build order for China. I usually just prefer the kind of 4 or 5 vills in Summer Palace and send 700 coin first shipment, but looks like Migo wants to mine a lot of coin here. Okay, now second vill going on to the Wonder here. What's your thoughts on this build order? And do you think it's going to be fast enough versus diarouga's Ottoman play?
I think it's super risky to go for that versus Ottomans, because if Ottomans decides to go aggressive, then you might never get enough resources to age up. Also, I believe diarouga is not going that aggressive. He's building a rocks, but in my opinion, he will just take down this TP and then maybe age up. So I believe Migo might be fine, but that was really risky play.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Okay, he's already spent that wood at the moment, and looking at his villagers, it doesn't look like it's more architects. would shipment here, I believe Diarouga's already got that stagecoach upgrade in the queue at the moment, and his first batch of Jans. Okay, Jans are moving towards the waypoints towards the base, but where's this villager? Like that's been scouted by Diarouga, and if his unit's about to pop out, that villager could be picked off. The Ottoman explorer could snare that villager.
I wonder if it was intentional, but also, actually, is Migo playing H2? Because he's chopping wood.
I don't know. Maybe he's going to go for a second village because he may be fearing that his first village may be sieged down. But you're certainly right in saying that, and it depends on what Migo's first shipment will be. He doesn't have the coin really, and he's already spent all that coin. And where's that coin even gone?
Yeah, I was wondering, are we crazy?
Is it the Rat and Shields? Are we going to see an early 10 Rat and Shields? We do see Disciples and the Explorer. Oh. This could be a timing from Migo onto this central place, but is Rat and Shields what you really need versus Janissaries?
Versus Janissaries plus Hussars? Really not. So it was cheesy, but I don't know. Maybe he will go for raiding with that?
Yeah, the Ratans are on the field at the moment, and Migo is pulling the army back towards the Ratans, and surprise! Here come the 10 Ratan shields, and Darrow's thinking, well, what the hell? What units counter these Ratan shields? But Darrow is actually quite happy with his unit composition at the moment, and that play from Migo hasn't worked out just at the moment, and even has to go for another village. Do Disciples take population? I'm not too sure they do.
No, they don't.
So I think Migo sends another unit shipment behind this thing because he's already at 40 out of 50 population, and there's nothing really here to suggest that, 8 Chu canoes, nothing really to suggest that it's going to be a crate shipment at the moment. So Chu canoes with the Rat and Shields, though, that's actually pretty decent. Chu canoes dealing with the Jans, Ratans should be enough to kind of tank the Janissary fire and deal with the Hussars, and here come the Chu canoes, and Diarouga, he's moving forward with his Janissaries. I'm not too sure I like this, though. Okay, big batch of Hussars coming in, though, 5 Hussars, and this is a strong push from Diarouga, reinforcing more Janissaries. I actually think this could be a very short game.
It could be, but yeah, there is the Disciple, but they are not that great against cavalry, so yeah, seems really good for Diarouga so far.
It's only 2 Ratans on the field, now 5 Chucanoes remaining, but they're getting focused down by the Hussars, and 4 Janissaries in the background should be enough to focus down the Ratan Shields and the Disciples. Okay, Chang Pikeman coming out, but Hussars can just run away. I think Diarouga must be confident that he's in some sort of lead at this point, or, well, yeah, it must be 2-1 stagecoach, and more shipments coming in behind this, and Migo's just gone basically all in colonial aggression. Still has the ability to send the Step Riders or even going for the Mandarin Duck Squad, but the follow-up from Indiabot here is interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I think actually this Mandarin Duck Squad will be probably the best option right now, but still, yeah, it's a tough position because Diarouga is also microing quite well with his Jans, hit and running and pull tricking with his Cav. So it's quite tough for Migo to hold this push, and yeah, in the back of it, Diarouga has 2 TP to 1 with the stagecoach. And the cavalry is not so useful once again.
Yeah, I think the Step Riders was sent because just the shipment was there to be sent instead of actually thinking what's the best shipment I could send. Maybe 300 exports and into British consulates could have been nice at this point, but he has the food available for the Mandarin Duck Squad when that shipment comes around, but I think he's not got a shipment anymore on the way, and he's just busy training batches of old hand. He does have 3 Disciples in queue, and constantly coming down, that may suggest 300 exports as an intended card to be sent.
Oh yeah, 300 export could be an option for maybe some musketeers. He picked 5 Jans at the cost of only 1 or 2 of this useless step cards. So that's nice, but meanwhile Diarouga was taking on the TP, and now he has the full trade line, which means he will be able to outmass by quite a lot, in fact. Or the consulate is now still going up, so maybe that's going to be next card 300 export and try something with that?
I would really like diarouga to send either 600 food or 600 coin. He can send 600 coin, puts the TPs onto a bit of wood, and then afterwards coin, get an artillery foundry down, and then probably just try and go for a bit of a 3-unit composition here, and just play as colonial, because I just don't see how Migo just deals with Jan Abus at this point. Okay, there's enough Hussars out in the field, but these are Chukanu with 16 range. Abus guns behind a line of Janissaries should be able to rip through this entire army.
Yeah, especially since diarouga has a better eco now. So yeah, and also he still has more army at this point. So if he can just go for the safe 3 units composition, he should be fine. 600 wood, so he will drop the front with that. That's also fine, I guess, since he needs some houses as well.
Yeah, 600 wood, 600 coin doesn't really matter because your TPs will just be set to the other resource it can generate, and I'm sure a few houses going down, and there's the artillery foundry being thrown down on his side of the map. He wants to try and keep this hidden as long as possible and just give India that Migo that false sense of security. He's just going to go pure Jan Hussars here, but export coming in from the China player, Brit Consulate in. I'm sure we're going to see a batch of musketeers being trained and nearly in time for a second batch as well, so could be pushing out with 12 redcoats.
Yeah, will be very efficient until the Ibis come out. Also, probably there will be some 5 Ibis in time to defend that. And yeah, once there is Ibis, it's not the same story because you can hit on one kind of forever versus this H2 China units with them.
5 Abus are in queue, but diarouga's thinking of trying to take this fight before those guns are out on the field, and it looks like he's backing off now. He wants to wait for those Abus reinforcements and try and actually force IndiaBot to fight underneath his production facilities, and I suppose Migo needs to do something with his export push. Another batch of redcoats being trained in Old Han, but with a 3 TP to 0 deficit, Migo is wanting to force the agenda here, and here come the 5 Abus guns.
Yeah, and the thing is, Abus guns, they are not great to attack China because they can't really commit under the TC. But they are really great in defensive position as here, especially in H2 China. You don't have any cavalry, so I don't know how you deal with that. He just decides to right-click and hope for the best.
Yeah, Migo sent all his pikes into the front line there to try and absorb so much damage. Enough pikes here to scare away the Hussars, but a few Hussars go into the Chukanus. Step Riders actually managed to connect with the Abus guns, picking off 2 Abus guns there, but still 3 are still standing. But another batch of 5 Abus has just been made from the artillery, so trading off the Hussars there when he could, and is now going to go Jan Abus to deal with this bow pike from Migo, and Hussars coming topside. These Chang pikemen still in cover mode, need to go into normal fighting, but Chukano is moving forward, and yeah, the GG comes out, and interesting strategy to say, listen, you know what? It nearly paid off, it nearly worked. Maybe the Rat and Shields first was possibly not the card to send, but interesting strat though.
Yeah, the problem is he had to decide for what he was about to do, like during his transition, and then when he saw the stable on the rocks, he couldn't really change his build because he has the gold. So what do you do with that? You still have to ship the Rattan Shield, and probably when he saw the stable, he must have been disappointed because he knew already that it wouldn't work. But you don't have a choice at this point.
Would Rat and Shields though work in a kind of a versus a tower FF build? They're good raiding units and they're kind of their pseudo cavalry, but they're not really best known for their siege. And you could just have 10 Rattans underneath the town centre, but it could have been an in-base barracks, 5 Jans, and Minutemen pop, and that could have just cleaned up the Rattans and the disciples.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now that I think about that, I don't know against what it would work, unless if Ottomans goes for Janabis, but it doesn't make much sense to go for Janabis versus China.
Who knows? Diarouga could have opened up with double artillery foundry into double Abus guns, and then the Rat and Shields would be surprise. Here we are. But
or maybe if Diarouga goes for Grenadiers, cheers. I'm thinking, okay, China will just FF. I just need to siege. I know. But yeah, that's next mind game and didn't work for this one.
Yeah, but I think we need to give Diarouga some credit for this game. It's just playing standard, really, and I liked the timing when to change into the Abus guns, and I feel that if this was still Jan Hussars, I feel that Migo would be thinking, right, I've still got my Chu canoes. I could still try and trade off versus the Janissaries, but the actual Avis guns there mixed in with no more step riders to try and pick these guys off. It just felt that diarouga just had a bit more of a firepower available than what China could really muster. And after that 8 Chu canoe, you can only really mass crossbows on the old hand shipments. You still have the Mandarin Duck squad, but it feels like it'd be hard to outmass the Ottoman player when he has the 3 TPs as well, and he just didn't have a window to try and siege down this TP to the south.
Yeah, right. And the problem is with Avis guns is that it outruns every unit from China in H2. So yeah, I don't know. You can't really do anything but commit to a big fight, and that's not what you want with Chukonu usually. So yeah, that's really annoying when you are in this position for China, I believe.
Yeah, looking at the military unit counts, the population doesn't include the rat and shields, but the military unit count, you can see most of those disciples and rat and shields being taken out there early on, and it was a good trade for diarouga. That reinforcing batch of 5 Hussars was so important. If that was just 5 Jans slowly walking their way from the barracks, that could have been a different story and given Migo that springboard into a nice larger mass in the second age, but diarouga getting that nice 5 batch of Hussars, maybe thinking that those 5 Hussars, if there wasn't any military units, can just raid the Chinese economy and try and build China up while China's doing standard FF things, but actually unintentionally got the right unit out at the right time to clean up Migo.